Hyperlink, the backbone of internet actually. Hyperlink is a link from one page or file to another, usually activated by clicking on a blue underlined word or image. Hyperlinks allow people to easily navigate your website. Now, best practices regarding hyperlinks. Avoid overwhelming users by too many links. I'm sure you have seen many weblogs and websites. They just shower you with too many links, and you know what I'm talking about. You know how disturbing it is. So please avoid that action. Meet user expectation. If text is underlined and blue, it should always be a link. Don't confuse your users by ignoring common conventions. Use meaningful and descriptive links. Using clear and descriptive anchor text is important in helping users navigate a website and find the information they need quickly. It is more accessible, user friendly, and uh, search engine friendly. Okay, as you see on the right side, the importance of links for SEO is a hyperlink. It's very descriptive, user understand, search engine understand it, and it's very clear. So please use meaningful and descriptive link text. Key takeaway about links. As web design progresses, the way links are presented in digital products has evolved too. While blue is a traditional color for links, some companies may not adhere to this standard due to their brand identity. Additionally, images can now serve as hyperlinks with the logo of a website expected to link to the homepage by users. Consequently, even without underlying text, people expect the logo to behave like a link. And now let's talk about buttons. Buttons are an essential element of interaction design. They have a primary role in conversation between a user and the system. Buttons let user take specific actions like cancel, save, buy, check out. Now let's see the best practices about buttons. Make buttons look like buttons. Buttons should be easily recognizable as buttons through their shape, size, and color. Most buttons are rectangle or circle. This is a convention, right? The tip is buttons are interactive elements. Do not assume that something in your design is obvious for your users. Buttons must be only interactive elements. So what it means that you should always use button as an interactive element. That's it. And we have four familiar design for buttons: filled button with square corners, filled button with rounded corners, filled button with shadow, unfilled button or ghost button with a solid outline. These are the four standard design for buttons. However, we should be consistent using these shapes. To avoid confusion, it is essential to be consistent with the color, shape, and style of your buttons throughout your website. For instance, if you choose to use a rounded corner button, make sure to repeat the exact pattern across all pages. This will create a more visually appealing and user friendly experience for your visitors. Properly size buttons. Make the primary action look like it's the most important one. Increase the size of the button and use a contrasting color. By doing so, you can effectively draw users' attention and encouraging them to take the desired action. So, for example, if your button is call to action, it should be, it should be clearly seen as a call to action button. And a very important tip about buttons in web design, responsive web design on mobiles: make buttons finger friendly for mobile user. They should be, big enough for fingers, to be pressed by fingers, to be touched by fingers. So don't make them too small. And the next thing, avoid using too many buttons. This is a common problem for many apps and websites. When you provide too many options, your users end up doing nothing actually. When designing pages in your app or website, think about the most important action you want your users to take. I personally use only one call to action in one page. If well, of course, if it is a shopping page and it has many products, yes, I understand. But if you want your users, for example, to buy something, to buy a product in a page that is about one product, just make one call to action buttons. Do not shower your users with many buttons because it is really ineffective. Label buttons with what they do. It is important to label buttons with clear description of their function. This can help user navigate the application or website more easily and avoid confusion. Good buttons labels should be concise and descriptive, indicating what will happen when the button is clicked. By providing clear labels for buttons, you can create a more user friendly and accessible experience for all users. And one of the most important thing you should know about buttons is a different state. Buttons are an interactive element. When it comes to interaction, human brain expect a change. So specify different state for your buttons like hover or to show this interaction. The next topic is text fields. Inputs are text fields where users enter information. Let's have a look at anatomy of text fields. A common text field should have at least four elements, right? Well, and some of them are optional, of course, but this is a standard for a text field. Should have label text, container, leading icon, helper or error text, input text, and trailer icon. Try to put all these elements in your text field, and with that be done, you make your text field very accessible, user friendly, and SEO friendly. Text field measurements. This is a measurement. This is the most recent standard regarding text field measurements, and of course we will talk about it more when we are designing the website because it's something practical and we should see it in practice. But as a general rule, the container height should be 56 pixel, left and right padding without icons should be 16 pixel, left and right padding with icons should be 12 pixels, padding between icon and text should be 16 pixel, supporting text on top padding should be 4 pixel, label alignment should be vertically centered. Negative space is another important topic that we will introduce you now, but we will talk about it more when we are designing because it's really something very practical. Negative space, also known as white space or empty space, refer to the area surrounding an object in an image or on a page. To put it simply, it's the empty space between design elements or the unoccupied area within a design. Why negative space is important in web design? Well, negative space indicates if the elements are related. They draw attention to the important elements. Negative space gives user a visual break and they increase the readability. As I mentioned, we will talk about it more when we are designing the website. Okay, it was all about web design principles that I wanted to share with you. I really hope you enjoyed this part, and if you did, please let me know in your comments. Now it's time to start the second part and design the website together. Thank you and see you in the next section.